The WNBA is rocking. What could we have more? I mean, I just think, from a salary standpoint.
Caitlin Clark played a terrible game, shot 4 of 17 from the field. The Indiana Fever got curb stomped by the Connecticut Sun.
That's how skilled you are. It's the other end that y'all got to start taking way more pride in and understanding that is going to win us games.
Caitlin Clark versus the Shoe Giants. It sounds like a movie, right? But it's real life, and the ending of this story is going to blow your mind. Let's break down how Clark went from almost leaving Nike to scoring the biggest deal in women's basketball history. You know Caitlin Clark, right? The girl who just took college basketball and flipped it on its head. She's not just good, she's insane. Clark broke the NCAA's all-time scoring record. That's men's and women's basketball. Let that sink in for a second. But here's where things get wild. Clark's final games? They had people glued to their screens like never before. We're talking record-breaking viewership for women's college basketball. It's like she turned into a human highlight reel overnight. Now, you'd think the biggest shoe companies would be lining up to sign her, right? Well, they were. But guys, you won't believe what happened when these giants started fighting over her. This is where things get crazy. You thought the giants were lining up? They were practically trampling each other. But here's the kicker. Nike, the reigning champ, almost fumbled the ball. How close did Caitlin Clark come to ditching the swoosh? Let me tell you, it was a nail-biter. So Clark's college deal with Nike was coming to an end, and suddenly she was the hottest free agent in the game. Every major shoe company wanted a piece of her, and can you blame them? This girl was breaking records left and right. Adidas came out swinging with a $6 million offer over 4 years. That's huge money, right? But wait, it gets better. Under Armour decided to go all in, throwing $16 million on the table for 4 years. Both of these deals included signature shoes.
First time since 2016, this team has clinched a playoff spot. You guys learned about it last night.
So Caitlin Clark, if you're out there, you are one of the GOATs of our games, and we appreciate you.
The first woman to ever be the biggest star in American sports was assaulted 2 minutes into the game.
You know, the kind of thing that usually only NBA superstars get. Now you'd think Nike would be ready to match these offers, right? I mean, they had Clark from the beginning. But here's where things got weird. Nike's initial offer was only about $3.5 million a year, and get this, no signature shoe. It's like they forgot who they were dealing with. People started talking, fans were buzzing. Was Caitlin Clark really about to walk away from Nike? I mean, can you imagine seeing her in anything but those swoosh-covered kicks? The pressure was on. Clark's team made it clear that if Nike wanted to keep her, they'd need to come with at least $3 million a year. That's when some of the brand execs started sweating. They weren't used to these kinds of numbers for a women's basketball player. But Caitlin Clark isn't just any player. The Adidas folks were blown away when they met with her. She knew her stuff, asked all the right questions, and the meeting ran way over time. This girl was the real deal, on and off the court. Even Puma wanted in on the action at first, but when they heard the bidding was starting at $3 million a year, they backed out fast. That should tell you something about how high the stakes were. This wasn't just about Caitlin Clark anymore. The whole women's basketball world was watching. Whatever deal she signed was going to set the bar for every female baller coming up behind her.
No regrets, and obviously there's still so much time left. I want to be a national champion, and that's our goal.
The Michael Jordan of the WNBA was assaulted, has a black eye during the second half of the game because Dejanay Carrington stabbed her with her fingernails in the eye.
And then her just confidence, you can't help but watch when she plays, where she's shooting from, the range, the confidence, the flair, she's a performer.
Just when everyone thought Caitlin Clark was slipping through Nike's fingers, the swoosh had an ace up their sleeve. How much is a WNBA superstar really worth? Well, Nike was about to show us, and the answer would shock the basketball world. Remember how Nike's initial offer seemed like a low ball? It's like they forgot who they were dealing with for a second. But then something clicked. They realized they were on the verge of losing their golden goose, and suddenly, the game changed. Nike came back with an offer that left everyone's jaws on the floor. We're talking $28 million over 8 years, plus a signature shoe. Let that sink in for a second. This isn't just a good deal. It's the biggest deal in women's basketball history. Period. Now, you might be thinking, wait, didn't Adidas and Under Armour come in with some pretty sweet offers too? Yeah, they did. But Nike just blew them out of the water. It's like they looked at those other offers and said, that's cute. Now watch this. So, what did Caitlin do? She stuck with Nike. I know, right? After all that drama, all those rumors about her leaving, she decided to stay put. It's like when you threaten to leave your job and suddenly your boss remembers how awesome you are and gives you that raise you've been asking for. But here's where it gets interesting. The fans?
Do I need to call you the female version of Steph Curry, or do I need to call Steph Curry the male version of Caitlin Clark? I mean, which one is it?
That's how twisted and screwed up this WNBA thing and this sexuality thing is they got going on in the WNBA.
I think more than anything, it's like surprising, like you guys didn't know, like this is how women's sports are played. Like, come on.
They were split. Some people were pumped. They were like, yes, Caitlin got her bag. But others, they were skeptical. They were wondering why she'd stick with Nike after they almost let her walk away. You know what's crazy? Clark wasn't just sitting back and letting her agent do all the talking. She was in there, asking questions, showing she knew her stuff. When she met with Adidas, the meeting ran way over time because she was so engaged. This girl isn't just a baller, she's a businesswoman. And let's not forget, Clark had history with Nike. They'd been supporting her through college, putting her face on billboards, featuring her in commercials. That kind of relationship isn't easy to walk away from, especially when they come back with an offer that's setting records. You know what this deal really means? It means the game is changing. Not just for Caitlin Clark, but for every female baller coming up behind her. This deal just set the bar, and it set it high. We're talking about more money, more attention, and more respect for women's basketball. You know how they say one person can change the game? Well, Caitlin Clark just flipped the whole table. Her decision to stick with Nike isn't just about a fat paycheck. It's a seismic shift in how we value women athletes. But is the sports world ready for what comes next? Let's break this down. Clark's deal with Nike isn't just huge for her. It's a game changer for women's basketball as a whole. We're talking more money, more attention, and way more respect.
Perspective, what we're able to do, and the way people want to watch women's basketball and watch women's sports. And I mean, it's truly incredible.
She's got to get out of there. They need a real enforcer. They need people that have Caitlin Clark's back.
You can also feel the buzz in the city about what we're going to be able to do. As long as we focus one game at a time, I think we'll be in a great spot.
It's like Clark just kicked open a door that's been stuck for years. Check this out. Clark's jersey sold out faster than any draft pick in history. That's not just college fans buying. That's the whole basketball world sitting up and taking notice. It's like everyone suddenly realized, hey, women's basketball is fire. But here's where it gets really interesting. This deal isn't just about basketball. It's opening doors for female athletes across all sports. Think about it. If Caitlin Clark can land a $28 million deal, what does that mean for the next big star in women's soccer, or tennis, or track and field? Nike's move is putting pressure on other companies to step up their game. It's like they've all been playing checkers and Nike just whipped out a chessboard. Now, every other brand is scrambling to find their own Caitlin Clark. And let's talk about that signature shoe. That's not just a cool perk. It's a statement. It's Nike saying, we believe in women's sports so much, we're putting our money where our mouth is. That's huge for visibility and respect. But here's the kicker. This deal is also shining a light on the pay gap in women's sports. Clark's WNBA salary? It's a fraction of what she's making from Nike. That's got people talking about how we value women athletes and whether league salaries need a serious overhaul. You know what's wild? Clark isn't just sitting back and cashing checks. She's in there.
For myself, like coming in, right off my college season and then coming right to the WNBA, having that reset has been something that I probably haven't had in like a year. A lot of people at the time never thought Iowa women's basketball would be there in that moment. And obviously I was a freshman and our team was super young.
That was on purpose. Is Caitlin Clark making too much of it? Is she exaggerating it, trying to get the call? You can think both things. You can think, hey, this is on purpose.
Asking questions, showing she knows her stuff. When she met with Adidas, the meeting ran way over because she was so engaged. This girl isn't just changing the game on the court, she's rewriting the rules off it too. But here's the million-dollar question, or should I say $28 million question. Was sticking with Nike the right move? Some fans are pumped, saying Clark got what she deserved. Others are wondering if she could have pushed for even more with a different brand. All right, let's talk about what's next for Caitlin Clark. This girl's journey has been wild, from college superstar to the face of women's basketball. But you know what's even crazier? We're just getting started. So when are we going to see that signature shoe? Well, don't hold your breath. Nike's taking their sweet time, probably dropping it in 2026 or 2027. They want to get it just right, and can you blame them? Here's the real kicker. Clark's deal isn't just about her, it's changing the game for all women's sports. Other companies are going to have to step up if they want to keep up with Nike. And get this, Clark's NIL valuation is already at $3.1 million. That's before she even stepped on a WNBA court. What do you think? Is Clark's deal going to shake things up in women's sports? Let me know in the comments.